not just because of all that lava. Truth be told, we'd all had our fill of those gearheads during the war. And we couldn't stomach the thought of going through another one. So we blew them up. Blew up the droids, blew up the factory. Damn near blew up the planet.
Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Family Guy Part 4. This is by far one of the greatest Family Guy games ever, simply because it involves Peter Griffin going to war with this droid factory. I remember that legendary episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin hated some brand of battle droid, so he got his troops, he got his friends he knows from the Drunken Clan to go to dress as these white plastic soldiers that go to war with these metal robotic soldiers on this rocky, molten lava planet that looks like that planet Obi-Wan and Anakin fought on in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And so we're going here to take on this mysterious villain that's running this place. It's some guy, I think his name is Geyser Delza. I think he may have been the Chicken Man, but he's not being the Chicken Man. That might be like his secret identity. Maybe Peter Griffin found out the Chicken Man's secret identity. So now he's going to war with his place, he's going to get him destroyed, so and of course Peter Griffin is way too fat and lazy to do any real serious fighting, so he just gets his friends to go dress up as these troopers and shoot down the evil droids that this Chicken Man, this Geyser Delta thing throws. He doesn't even look like a chicken. He's some weird bug-like species that has wings he can fly around. It almost looks like the things we saw in Geonosis back in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, those weird bug things, those weird termite things we saw in Geonosis. I think some people often call them termites or something like that. I don't know, maybe the Chicken Man really was a termite all along. I don't know, was the Chicken Man's identity ever really revealed in Family Guy? I don't know. I haven't watched that show. Heck, I don't even really think I've ever watched that show ever. I'm not really the biggest fan of Family Guy. I only just like playing this game because this game truly embraces what Family Guy is supposed to be. It's just a fun, mindless, go blast down all your enemies kind of fun game where you just run around and shoot stuff and shoot the targets, and there isn't really much thought and effort into it. Games that don't require a lot of thought and effort often are the best games. That's why I say a lot of modern games suck, or not necessarily suck, but aren't as good anymore. The gaming industry itself is kind of dying. We've got to a point where the video game market's been oversaturated. Because what more could you possibly do? We've already made, the best. Video games already are the best they could possibly be. How can you really make any more new, better video games nowadays? There isn't really a way you could really make new, better video games nowadays. This is the only real way you could go and make new, better video games, pretty much. So there isn't really much of a real, there isn't much. It makes sense why a lot of games nowadays aren't, as good. Because, it's got to a point where there isn't really much originality anymore, much uniqueness anymore, unique originality anymore. That's why I find games like these are more original, they're more unique, and they're actually a lot more challenging. A lot of games these days seem to be very easy now, so people don't seem to like challenge as much anymore, and yet this game still delivers a great deal of challenge. That's why this is by far the definitive Family Guy game. This is the best Family Guy game ever. This is better than ever Family Guy game that came out on the PS2 that had very little to do with Family Guy, where you just play as these pre-rendered models that have thick comic book like outlines, and then you're fighting stuff and you're shooting. So yeah, there is some stuff like that, but it doesn't really have much to do with Family Guy. This game better captures that Family Guy is supposed to be easy, because you play as a white trooper that shoots at stuff. That's what Family Guy is supposed to be, right? It's a show about some trooper that goes and shoots battle droids and wages a war on some rocky molten lava planet. And there was also a similar level to this in Pac-Man World 2. I remember where it was, I forget what it was called, Magnum Opus or something like that, where I remember really despising that level. Where you play as Pac-Man, you have to go for some molten lava. That may have been the inspiration for this, because this game came out in 2005 supposedly, and Pac-Man World 2 came out around 2002. I don't know if they took inspiration from it. Then again, a lot of games have lava levels. Lava levels are very typical in games. Sonic had them, Mario had them, I don't remember if Contra had them or not. I know pretty much every game I could think of ever made pretty much has some kind of lava level hidden in there. There's also ice levels and sewer levels and what else? There's tower type levels and stuff. Pretty much every game I could think of has those kinds of levels. There's almost an unwritten formula that for games in the 80s, even games in the 90s and the 2000s still kind of had that formula. Even Spyro did still did too. Spyro had ice levels as well as lava levels and such and tower levels. So I think now we have to recover something that was dropped, because these troops aren't very good. They were trained by Peter Griffin, so of course they're not going to be the best. But then again, Peter Griffin is still a lot better at training his soldiers than some of the American generals we have that run wars these days, a lot of them suck. That's probably why we lose so many wars. If half the generals we had in the American army were as good as Peter Griffin, we would never lose wars, and America would dominate even more of the world, and the world would be by far a much better place, a much greater place for sure. That's why we had Peter Griffin running our wars. He's way better than those people in the Empire from Star Wars were running wars. Where the Empire really sucked. And same with the Old Republic as well. Not the Old Republic, sorry, the Galactic Republic. They weren't good at running wars either, which is why they lost a lot of battles. But if they had Peter Griffin on their side, Peter Griffin would have been awesome during the Clone Wars. He would have led the Republic to a great victory, and they would have dominated the galaxy. But then again, the Republic kind of did win the war, some say. I don't know if anyone ever argues who the real winner of the Clone Wars was. Was it the Republic or was it the CIS? Some people may argue the CIS were the real winners of the war, considering the fact that it's two sides that are supposedly run by the same corporate entity, which in the case of this, it was that guy, I forget his name, he's that guy who wore the robes and had a weird deformed alien-like face. My father used to call him Rumpelstiltskin sometimes, and he used to say things like, a Powhatan and your ain't guy, you killed her. So we're finally going against the chicken guy now. I think that's the chicken guy. And he has some more of his chicken minions running around, those weird-looking maybe they're space chickens or something. Like, there are different types of chickens, like those bin chickens they have in Australia that eat stuff. I think it's another boss battle. We're fighting the Chicken Man, guys, or Delzo, and look at that, he has a frickin' rocket launcher on him. If he had a rocket launcher in Family Guy, he would have destroyed the Griffin family for sure if he had something like that in the show. But again, I haven't seen that show in I don't even think like I said, I've never watched that show ever, really, so I don't know how the fight really, I don't know, did Peter Griffin even win that fight? I don't know. I bet people in the comments that watch are probably going to correct me on that one, but again, no one ever corrects anything I ever say in the comments, because every single thing I ever say in any of these videos is always correct, right? I'm always correct. Ray Phoenix is always correct. He always knows everything, right? Everything about everything that ever needed to be known is known in these videos, but these videos are considered a sense of, facts, not truth. Facts. It's all about the facts. It's all about what's factual, what really happened. It's not about intellectual philosophical truth, and we have killed the Chicken Man, which is something Peter Griffin was never able to do, but we're a soldier, so we did it for him. So the Chicken Man is clearly dead, and we just won a major victory on this rocky molten planet. It almost looks a little bit like Venus sometimes, a bit too, it actually does kind of look like Venus a bit.
The destruction of the mining facility put an end to any thoughts of a second droid rebellion. For the first time in years, the man of the 501st could relax and get about the business of maintaining an empire, rather than building one.
And so we won, we got a lot of their troops killed, and then this is another successful battle for Peter Griffin that he can put into his portfolio of victories. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.